Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC Pack 2 centered around Dragon Ball Daima should be getting announced sometime between now and May if we're to believe the DLC schedule that was released last year, and I can't wait to see who's included. With the superhero DLC being released early in the first quarter, including Beast Gohan, Orange Piccolo, the Gammas, and yes, even Cell Max, this opens up the door for speculation on the long list of possible characters we could potentially see in the next DLC pack for Sparking Zero, some much more anticipated than others. So consider leaving a like on the video, subscribing to the channel for more content like this, and without further ado fellas, let's hop on in. It's been about 5 to 6 months since the release of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and while there have been a lot of ups and downs, I still don't think this is the worst game ever. I am excited for Bleach Rebirth of Souls and eventually Hinokami Chronicles 2, but we're not just gonna completely ditch Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Unfortunately though, in my case at least, if I'm not playing with friends, DLC is one of the few things bringing me back to play this game on the regular. Sparking Zero, man, where do I start? Actually, this isn't gonna be one of those videos. We all know what we enjoy and what we don't really enjoy when it comes to Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. More importantly though, let's get into what exactly the next DLC Pack 2, which will be a Dragon Ball Daima pack, could include, as well as some things that we hope to see as well, of course. The very first DLC pack for Sparking Zero was a banger in my opinion, with the superhero squad finally coming to the game. Beast Gohan, of course, was a lot of fun, but honestly, I really enjoyed Orange Piccolo and the Gammas the most. I'm not really a giant user when it comes to Tenkaichi games, so I don't have the most experience with Cell Max, but the handful of times that I've seen him online, he seemed pretty cool. Of course, with each update or DLC, there are a lot of things that are left to be desired. Ideally, that I wish that there was a new stage pack that was included in DLC Pack 1, but hopefully this is something we can look forward to in the future. There was also a relatively decent sized update patch that came along with this pack as well, which is something that we should also expect when Daima DLC Pack 2 comes around. As we know, the DLC schedule for this year in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero was released late last year and outlined a rough estimate of when everything would be released in 2025. Sometime in Q1, which we're in right now, we should be expecting our first round of Daima DLC that I think could include most things outside of probably the last 3 or 4 episodes of the series. Some characters that I'm personally looking forward to seeing include, but definitely are not limited to, Glorio and Daima Vegeta Mini, who have been seen in promo art for the DLC already. Both Daima Vegeta Mini and Glorio have a decent moveset that we've seen already from the couple of battles that they've had in Daima, and also games that they're already a part of like Dokkan Battle and Dragon Ball Legend. Now, I really don't see them doing the whole 2 separate Vegeta Mini characters like we could potentially expect to see and probably will see with Goku Mini, since adult Daima Vegeta will probably be introduced at some point. If I had to guess, maybe DLC Pack 3 with, you know, the really hyped Daima characters that we're looking forward to seeing. So with that in mind, I would assume that Vegeta Mini would also have not only his Super Saiyan transformation, but also the much anticipated Super Saiyan 3 transformation that he showed against Tamagami 2 as well. I'd also like to think that it's fair to guess that we could potentially see at least one Tamagami in DLC Pack 2 also. Maybe the other 2 Tamagami could potentially be alternate costumes for this one, and alongside these 3 characters, possibly Majin Buu and Majin Ku also. This would bring us to, what is this, 7 characters total in this pack so far, if we count Vegeta's transformation separately, but I also think in this first Daima pack is when we could finally see Goku Mini kind of redone into a proper character with his real moveset and Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 3 transformations also. I understand that they needed to, you know, add him to the game on launch for promotion of Daima since it aired the same day as Sparking Zero's global release, but he is a shell of the character he should be, so I'm excited for the real Daima Goku in the future. I mean, the one we have now doesn't have a Kamehameha or even Ki Blast. Potentially other characters we could possibly see in a Q2 Daima DLC pack include Piccolo Mini, Mini Shin, and even Goma. I feel like Piccolo Mini is just as much of a given as Vegeta Mini, a new Goku Mini, and even Glorio, although he's rarely talked about as much as those other three for some reason, even though he did have a sub-central role in the series, especially when it came to the focus on the Namekians. Now, Shin is interesting. Shin is one of the most surprising characters that we didn't get on the main roster in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, or even Kibito Kai for that matter, but once upon a time, I did imagine that if they were to include Shin in the game, I doubt that they would have 2 slots for him, and although, to me, it would have made more sense to have his regular adult character from DBZ and Dragon Ball Super. At the time, I was more or less unaware of how significant Shin might have been in Dragon Ball Daima, so I thought that maybe they could save him for future DLC. At this point, now that Daima is over though, I really have no clue if Shin is anywhere in the plan, seeing as how his combat role in Daima was pretty much just as minimal as it was in the other series. As far as Goma though, this is a pretty large speculation, but since there are essentially, like 3 different versions of him, the mini version, Buff Goma right after he merges with the third eye, and then Giant Goma that fought against Super Saiyan 4 Goku, I'm not exactly too sure what the plan could be here. Mini Goma alone might not necessarily be worth a slot or a purchase by himself, since he didn't really do much, which actually, if I think about it, might not be too fair to say because we do have characters like Babidi in the game. But if he's a transforming character, then that would make a lot more sense and he'd be a lot more worth it. However, I don't see that version of Goma coming to the game until the final Daima DLC pack that will almost certainly include the adult versions of all the characters we've pretty much already talked about. Most importantly, Goku and Vegeta, of course. In the matter of Goku though, even I don't know if we'll see his Super Saiyan 4 form available on a new Goku mini character in this very next DLC pack, or if it's gonna be a part of the final one since it happened so late in the Dragon Ball Daima series in like the last 3 or 4 episodes, actually the last 3 episodes if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I would expect DLC Pack 2 to be focused on the characters and events from literally everything that happened before Goku turned into a Super Saiyan 4. But characters aside, another huge question regarding the next 2 DLC packs that I have are, could we possibly see more stages being implemented into the game as well? Stages like Demon Worlds 1, 2, and 3. I think that these could potentially be the most likely to be included in Sparking Zero because of their significance in Daima, but I also still think some of these other stages like Kami's Lookout should without a doubt be added eventually as well. Now, with the limited number of stages we've already been exposed to in Sparking Zero, I can't really put too much faith that we'd get spoiled like this, but with 2 Daima DLC planned for the future of this year, I would think that they could have something a little more planned than just characters and probably a music pack or 2, right? Which, by the way, I'm definitely not shading a potential Daima music pack. I'm actually all for that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about these predictions for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC Pack 2, and a brief overview of what we could maybe even expect from the 3rd DLC pack as well, which is also Daima focused. If any of you guys think we should see characters like Pansy, King Kadan, or even a Rinsu as well, let me know in the comments. I did leave a few characters out, yes, but I just wanted to try and focus on the most central and significant characters in Dragon Ball Daima series. As we've seen with Sparking Zero though, even some of the most obscure, outlandish of characters could secure a spot every now and then, so anything is possible. Anyways, fellas, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and it was great to talk about Sparking Zero again. I hope future patches continue to improve the game and the quality of life of the remaining player base, because we want to love this game and we want it to live as long as possible and continue to have fun with it, but I mean, it's a Bandai Namco game. More than enough said right there. It's gonna need work no matter how many sales they celebrate because of the IP. I hate to break it to them, but we've been here dozens of times already. But anyways, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.